Hi, how you doing? This is a really quick demo. Basically, I've been promising my subscribers, a few of them, that I would take them through my settings that I've dialed in on the Mooer GE300. They've been getting a bit frustrated with their own tones or the way they're doing things and wanted me to kind of show them how I do things, because either they like my tones or they just prefer them over their own. So today I'm going to be using this, which is a really cheap budget guitar, Jackson JS32 TQ, is it? I'm not sure. It's a dinky model. It's bolt on. I don't know how much they are now. Maybe 200 or 300-ish, something like that. So very affordable, but very good guitars, and I use this guitar all the time. This is going straight into the Mooer GE300. I then have the Mooer GE300 going straight into my iPhone. Okay, so the audio that you are actually hearing could not be any more raw. Nothing is done whatsoever. It's just the Mooer straight in the middle of the iPhone, and that's how we're going to do it. I'm going to show you the screen, I'm going to flick through, and I'm going to show you all my settings. So let's go. On this setting is basically an overdrive, the amp and the power amp, that's all in there, a noise suppressor after the amp, and then a cab. Now what I will say is, though, I do use Celestion impulse responses. It's a V30 pack that I use, and you get a hell of a lot of cabs, mics and speakers in there. They're all V30 speakers, but there's 212s, 412 cabs. I think there's 3 different types of mics. So I do use them. There's nothing wrong with the built-in Mooer impulse responses. You can use them, but I just prefer to use the Celestion ones. They are my favourite. So without further ado, let's go into the overdrive first. Let's see what I was using. So I'm using one here called the Blade. Okay, now I found this by accident, and this is the secret to this tone, in my opinion. Everything is at noon apart from the gain here that is at 0. Now the reason it's a bit of a strange setting, that is because the Blade is actually a Mooer distortion pedal. It's a metal type pedal. It has a hell of a lot of gain, so there's basically none of it on. It's just as a mild boost. It's like a clean boost. I've used it as, but even though it is a very, very good metal distortion pedal. Hope to get hold of one of those one day on my channel. So that's the boost that's in front of it. It's the Blade. It is not the Tube Screamer or you know, the 808, whatever you call it, or the SD1 in front of it. It is the Blade, which is an odd choice, some would say, because it's not really an overdrive, it's a distortion. Anyhow, let's go on to the amp. Okay, which is a Cali Mark 4C. Now those are my settings. They're pretty stock. The gain is obviously quite low because the Blade has quite a lot of gain, and we are only boosting. We want to keep it clean, we want to keep it tight. We don't want to get too fuzzy or muddy. The bass is at noon, trebles at noon, mids are just above noon. You would call that like probably maybe 6-ish, I guess, maybe 6.5 even, I'm not sure. The mode's set to original. Now if you click the select button, the big control over here, you can move into the power amp. As you can see, the power amp, again, everything's just at noon. I'm using the 6L6 tubes here. Now in a lot of the settings I do actually use the EL34 ones because I prefer those. But that's how the amp is set. As you can see, there's nothing special going on. I treat it just as if it's a normal amp. Okay. The cab is a V34 12 low gain cab. I don't know what the mic is on that one, but that will come with a Celestion impulse response pack, and I can't remember how much they were when I bought them. I think they were cheap. They're only like something like £30-40, and you get a hell of a lot of cabs, so it's worth it. I don't need any more. I've not downloaded any more since I got that one pack, and for metal and high gain it's perfectly fine. Okay, so let's have a look at the noise suppressor now. This is after the amp and before the cab, and there you go. The threshold is on 60 and the output is way over here, and that's pretty simple. Again, the I'm only in drop D, so it's not going to sound absolutely, massive or anything, but it's I just wanted to, my aim was to get a really tight tone, and I think I did that. So we're going back now. Let's have a look at some of my other favourites I've got that I've used. That's the PV Chug Life setting, which is not one of my best. These are just all my settings, what we're going through. I'm trying to find the one that I use live the most. There it is, Recti Boost. And I also use this on the Metallica mashup video I did. I think I tweaked it, but I didn't save it. Okay, so it will be slightly different, but it won't be massively different. Again, super simple here. We're just treating it like it is an amp. Let's see what I used for the overdrive. So I've used an 808 this time, which is common for me because that's the one that I usually go for, Tube Screamer or 808. Again, gain on 0, output on full blast, everything else is in the middle. It's just a clean boost. That's what you do with an amp, for those that don't know how to boost an amp. That is just it's a normal setting to me. I've used the Cali Dual 2 for the amp. That's my favourite out of the rectifiers that are in here. I think there's a triple and something else, but this is my favourite. The gain is quite high. The gain's up on 70. The bass is just past noon on 60. The mids are in the middle, which is, again, for me, that's really normal. And the treble is up on 60. Nothing crazy, nothing too special. Let's have a look at the power amps. I've tweaked it a bit. 6L6 tubes we're using over here. The presence is on 61. The bias is running pretty hot at 60. So yeah, I didn't think it had that much gain, so I think I've just pushed that a bit harder, but that's pretty simple. Next there is the noise suppressor after this. Threshold is quite low because there's not much gain here. That's on 32. Let's move on to the cab. The cab that I've used is a V3212 Dark, it's called, I believe. That one is my favourite cab on there out of the 212s that you get with the impulse responses. Like I say, you can use the built-in cabs. There's nothing wrong with them. So that's that tone. I'm just going to play through it now so you can hear it. So I love that tone actually. I used that live at the last gig, and there was a guy out front, a couple of guys that played guitars in other bands, and I purposely asked them to keep an eye on my tone, and they said it blended in nice. When everything was in there, couldn't really tell which guitar was which. My rhythm guitarist had a PV 6505, and they said they couldn't really tell who was who, which is good. There was a section where I play on my own, where I'm playing something like this. In drop C, and basically they said that when I started chugging that riff out on my own, the chugging sounded absolutely massive. So yeah, that's good enough for me. So that's become like my favourite rhythm tone, I think. Hell of a lot of good harmonics on that tone as well, by the way, which I really like. Let's move on to EVH Mooer Chug. There's a lot of EVH stuff in here. Just need to make sure that that is not a tone capture. It's not. It's a pretty powerful tone, is that one. I don't actually use that one live as much as I do recording wise, because it doesn't sound as good through the PA when I go direct. But let's have a look at it. There's no boost here, by the way. Oh, look at that. It's flat. It's just flat. I've done absolutely nothing to it. All I've done is put a noise suppressor after it on 27, and cab wise I've used 212 dark again, Celestion V30s. Now that just proves to me, this is how I don't understand how nobody can get a good tone out of it. I've left that amp flat and it sounds awesome. The power amp and everything is flat, and I'm just using the 6L6s. I'll just change that power amp so so obviously the EL84, you can hear it there, it tightens it right up. 6V6. So yeah, moving on. That's a tone capture. We don't want to use that one. That's cheating. Although live, I don't use my tone captures, by the way. I don't use them. This is my latest patch. We'll call it a patch. See what you think to this. So when I dialed that one in, I wanted like a really MIDI type growl rather than like a ton of gain. That's the JP amp. Let's look at the overdrive. Again, nothing special there. Output up full gain on 0 like you would a normal amp. Everything else is flat. Click then. The amp, yeah. Gain 41, bass 82, mid 50, treble 50. I'm using EL34s in the power section, and the bias is on 64. The presence I've tweaked to 70 because it was very low endy. So there's nothing special going on there. Let's look what cab I've used. So I've used a different cab there. Not sure what the mic is, but it's a 412 V30 I've used from the Celestion Impulse Responses. Threshold is 60, so it's quite high. thing is with tones like that, when you are recording, a big mistake people make is when they lay guitars up, they use like 4 tracks of guitars and they have too much gain on them, and it becomes more and more clouded and mushed up and unclear. I think like everybody realises that bands that sound like they've got tons of gain on recordings, actually people would be shocked if they could hear a guitar on its own, because they don't use that much gain, because obviously it's got more kick and punch and stuff to it. So recording wise, that is probably going to be better in a mix than the other settings. But yeah, I like them all. They're my favourite settings anyway that I use all the time. I've not dialed one in for ages. There is a Herbert somewhere there. Can't remember what this is like. This was the last one I dialed. Sounds like the EVH one with a bit more mids. I'll take you through it if you really want, just to show you it. Overdrive in front again, boosting it. Gain 0, output up, full, it's an 808. Oh, I almost bore myself because I'm so predictable. This is interesting. The gain's on 73, the bass is on 60, the mids are on 72, the treble is 58, and I've used Cali 6L6 in the power section. The presence is on 61 and the bias is actually calmed down a bit on 40. So that's the one I've actually tweaked. That's the one I've tweaked the most. It's very meaty, that one. Very heavy. But yeah, let me know what you think in the comments. I hope this helped. Sorry that it is not the quick video that I always say. It's a quick one, and this has not turned out quick at all. I hope this helps guys that are struggling dialing stuff in, and I hope also that it makes or helps people realise that I'm not doing that much to the amps. They just sound good out of the box. Kind of like, you know, Peavies and EVHs sound that you just plug them in and they sound great. You don't have to do that much, in my opinion. Anyway, so there you go. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe. Do not forget, the year 2020 is massive for, let's say, our channel. I was going to say my channel, but it's our channel, really. Because Jackson are going to be sending me all the 2020 guitars to go through one by one very soon. Probably will be about April, where I'll be doing hopefully at least 2 demos of the new Jackson guitars every week until I get through as many as I can. Also the new EVH Stealth Head, that is going to be on my channel, and when I've got through the Jacksons that, and I feel like I've covered enough of them, I will move on to Charvel and then the Wolfgangs as well. So stay tuned. Okay, big things are coming.